Welcome back to Indianapolis 500 Evolution. The 1965 season is coming to a close. The 7th race of the season will be our first road course race, period, in this career mode. Yes, a championship decider in 1965 on a road course. Just remember that the next time a traditionalist argues that it is tradition for Indy cars to end their season on a road or on an oval, because even in 1965, apparently, they were ending them on a road course. So this is the situation. Lloyd Ruby, after his victory at the Trenton 300, has a 5-point advantage over Don Branson and Bill Cheeseburg. I am in a tie for 3rd place in the standings, 4th overall, with Mario Andretti. Both of us are at 22 points. Al Unser, who has led the points for most of the season but crashed out at Trenton, is back in the points at 21 and could only tie Lloyd Ruby for the championship. It would end up coming down to wins, and that's assuming that Ruby doesn't win the championship or win the race or score any points. So there are 6 eligible drivers for the championship, but obviously a road course race is something I have never experienced in this career mode and certainly have not played a lot in this game, and we really don't know which cars, which drivers are going to be fast and which ones are not going to be fast at a road course race. It's completely a complete unknown in this race. So sit back, strap in, and enjoy as we go road course racing for the first time in Indy 500 month. Now, before we qualify and race, I do want to do one thing. You'll notice that right now there are 23 laps on this race, and you'll see it's a 3.2-mile road course at Riverside International Raceway. And I think because the lap times are going to be around 1.5 minutes for each lap, I think for the sake of an interesting video, I think we're going to kick it back to 10 laps. I think that's going to be a more than long enough race. It will still have the developments that we see throughout each race. And by the way, if you have a problem with this, let me know down in the comments, and I'll run 23 laps at Riverside if you want to watch me do it. But I think it'll be a more interesting video if we do it 10 laps, at least to start out, because I just don't know how these races are going to play out. If it's not long enough, obviously, we're going to find that out by the end of this video. So we're going to do 10 laps at Riverside, but first we must qualify. So let's see how that stacks up. So once again, we're in a completely unknown. We've got 2 cars ahead of us to qualify.
Car number 5.
And Bud Tinglestad is apparently not a very good road racer. He's at 94 miles an hour. George Snyder goes to the pole 1 mile per hour faster, but only at 95 miles per hour. And there's a pretty big grid. Lots and lots of cars for this race. And we're going out 3rd, so I have no idea where my times will lie, how fast I can go, and how they'll stack up, but let's find out. If ever there were a car to describe as a no-brainer to have in a road race, it would probably be a Lotus with somewhat of a Formula One pedigree. And that's exactly what we're doing as we head up through the very famous S's here at Riverside. It's going to be the same qualifying procedure as it is on the ovals, but that means we're going to be doing 3 laps, including the warm-up lap, and there's an awful lot of time to make mistakes, and I can tell you that this handling model is definitely weird on the road courses. As we get down to 2nd gear. Now, this isn't the NASCAR circuit. You'll notice some serious similarities, by the way, as well to this track and Sonoma. The NASCAR circuit, which is in this game and I believe will be used later in the career mode, spears off straight like the Sears Point track does. But this track utilizes this inner loop here, which again is very similar to Sonoma or Sears Point, however you know that racetrack. And ironically enough, these 2 tracks are pretty close to each other, as I'm braking way too early for this hairpin. But look, I overcompensated and went in way too deep as we head through this corner and then onto the very long back straightaway. This thing goes on forever, or maybe you could say five-ever. So down the back stretch we go. This is where top speed is really going to be a key. And just look how long this thing is. Then you get a flat-out kink right here. Then off the throttle. Oop, we'll have the brakes locked up, have the tires locked up, turning in too much. And through, I think this is called turn 9. Could be wrong. I'm not as up to date on my Riverside as I probably should be. We complete the warm-up lap. Already 100 miles an hour, so we are way, way faster than the pole speed right now, but I go off the track, and that wasn't the greatest idea in the world. So I wasn't the best through the S's, that's for sure. Down a gear. No curbing or anything. I believe that's accurate. Actually, if it was really accurate, they would have little tires sticking out of the ground. I know that's the way this track is in R Factor, as we really cut it tight, coming through that corner, down the hill, and now over the crest of the hill, into this hairpin. Down 2 gears. Find the apex on the throttle. Try not to go out too wide here, because if you go out too wide, that hill right there can be a real bugaboo. Really hard to judge the braking into here, and you can see I'm locking up again, and the game is replacing my skid marks with my more recent skid marks. Down the hill. Running through the grass again. I haven't quite got this down yet. And this is probably why we're not going to do 23 laps today. Again, I might try a longer road race if you really want me to. Again, that's for the comments section to decide. But again, for this race, I just want to kind of get a feel of what we need to do in these road course races. It's so weird after turning left for so long to start turning right, as I should have been shifting up there. Looks like we're going to have a pretty good lap right here.
It's the final lap.
Yeah, 103 miles an hour. I actually lifted off before I got to the first turn. Probably a little too early. Probably could have driven in a little more deep there. Working my way through the S's. On the brakes just a little bit. Down a gear. Down another gear. Find the apex, David. There we are. Oh, it's a double apex. I found the first apex, but not the second one. But I think we're going to have a pretty good lap here. But again, there's absolutely no way to determine where the heck the rest of the field is going to qualify, because none of the fast guys qualified before me. So I'm kind of the guinea pig here, kind of breaking everything in for everybody. Going down 2 gears. Going down another one all the way to second. Turned in a little early there. Now up through the gears once again. 4th gear. 5th gear. Underneath the Sunoco Bridge. I think that's a Marlboro Bridge in real life, or was a Marlboro Bridge in real life. Oh, I was looking for a 6th gear there and I didn't have one. Down 2 gears. I'm surprised. I don't remember seeing Jim Clark on the entry list. It would have made sense for Jim Clark to show up at a race like this, but I don't think I saw him. And it will be interesting as well to see how the road racers do if they're ranked a little higher as we go across the line at 105 miles an hour, and I think the AI is about to crash the car. No, he's not. So, yeah, pole position by about 5 miles per hour over Parnelli Jones. Let's take a look at the full starting grid. So, Hurtubise in the front engine Roadster gets 3rd on a road course. I was wondering how that was going to go, and that is how it went. Let's see exactly how many cars show up, because in the arcade mode, you get 30 cars, I think, on the road courses. 29. So we're down 1 car from the usual number, but a 29 car field is pretty big for this kind of a race. especially a road race. And all right, well, we're rolling off from the front of the grid, but we saw how that treated us at Trenton. Let's see if we can do a little bit better this time and try to win a championship, because Lloyd Ruby, he's still in the points. He's in 6th. We need him to not score any points or score very few points to have any shot at winning the 1965 championship.
Welcome to Riverside International Raceway, a challenging road course that will test both machine and driver to the limit. The track is 3.3 miles long and boasts 15 corners and a 1.1 mile back straightaway.
I told you that backstretch was long, 1.1 miles. Holy smokes, that's a long backstretch.
The green flag is out, and the
and we're
race has
green,
begun.
and the AI dumped me. It gave me control right at literally the last possible moment, and I almost got dumped right into the wall. So Parnelli Jones leads from Jim Hurtubise, and Hurtubise is pretty slow in that roadster. I don't know how he's qualifying so well on the road course like this. As Al Unser goes through that now. See, this is the problem. I really need to fix. Another road course, another roadster, not road course car, roadster with Knepper, and we actually made contact, wheel-to-wheel contact, and Lloyd Ruby is moving up through the field. So this is not something that's beneficial to my championship hopes. So we go on 2 gears. Hurtubise goes wide. We're gonna go 3 wide with Al Unser. Oh, contact. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And you can see Al is not happy about me shoving it down in there. And he's not going to race me probably very nicely the rest of this race. Remember, we're pretty much, everybody with Hurtubise here is running for a championship. And we're going to pull around Hurtubise, at least for now. Maybe down the backstretch he's going to have a big run, because there's a lot of power in that Novi car with the Novi engine. And 1.1 miles later, look at all those cars on the backstretch. Of course, this is a shorter race, so we really don't know how it's going to go. Gonna try to drive around the outside of Parnelli Jones here. Yes. I pulled it off around Parnelli and into the lead. Ooh, that was so close. Wow. Parnelli almost ran into the back of me right there. In turn 1, I go off the track a little bit. Ooh, I downshifted there instead of upshifted. Gotta be really careful of that. That will blow the engine up very easily in this game. You don't want to miss a shift too many times. Already almost got 4 seconds on Parnelli. So obviously being held up, but Lloyd Ruby's up to 3rd. This is not what I need. I'm doing everything I need to do, but also Lloyd Ruby is. Right now he would win the championship, I believe. I don't think I would make him enough points to really make much of a difference. And I think that misshift actually cost me. You'll notice when I downshift now, you'll see a little bit of black smoke come out of the car. I've probably hurt the gearbox a little bit. And that's another thing about this, about the road course races, is that there's so much shifting going on that reliability may be a concern. Ironically, with 29 cars in the field, we haven't heard a whole lot of wrecking, which is kind of surprising. I thought this was going to be a wreck fest, but at the moment, everybody's doing pretty well. Now, if I can just avoid Roger McCluskey, who's been a thorn in my side this entire season, and has probably cost me a championship, looking at all the points I've lost. Making contact with him, unintentionally of course, but that's just the way it goes. By the way, Arnie Knepper, who was running 4th at one point, is now 13th. and is probably going to be falling through the field at an enormous rate. Down into second. Try to find the apex. Car bouncing up and down. Now up through the gears once again. Already got 10 seconds, 20 seconds on Parnelli Jones. Wow, I can't believe I pulled out that big of a lead. That's actually a surprising lead. Hey look, Ian Cadman has 91. Well, we found a car that actually uses my number. How dare you appropriate my number? Uh-oh. That was close. That was off the track. Thankfully, nothing too serious happened there. And I can continue. Haven't been paying attention to where Lloyd Ruby is in the field, but seeing as no cars have crashed out yet, I am going to assume he's in third. And right now hanging on to his championship position. We're not even halfway through this race yet. Yeah, Ruby is in third, Unser fourth, Andretti fifth. Down a gear quickly there. On the brakes. You know, I just realized who I haven't seen a lot of in this season is Bobby Unser. I think he was at the 500, wasn't he? Where's Uncle Bobby? Wonder if he got hurt in 65. Because of course Al Senior's racing for the championship. But I don't see Uncle Bobby. That's weird. I hadn't even realized that until just now. I was just thinking about that. It's like, where's Bobby Unser? That is so weird. I didn't know of any injuries that kept him out of racing in 65, but it's certainly possible that there were. Maybe the comments section will be able to inform me on what happened to Uncle Bobby. We're running nice and close to the apex there, heading onto the back straight once again. See how much of a lead I pull on Parnelli down the backstretch. Seems like every time they go into a corner, I get it. Wow, look at that, 30 seconds. Over 30 seconds now on Parnelli Jones. I would hazard a guess that I'll be lapping the back of the field before the end of this race at my current pace. But of course, we found at Trenton that that didn't always end very well. You know, if I really dominate these road course races, I may end up starting entering funny cars in them. Maybe we'll enter a roadster and see if we can win a road course race in a roadster. Not quite halfway through the race yet. We'll be at the end of this lap. We haven't quite got exactly 30 seconds or over 30 seconds on Parnelli yet, because he keeps closing in as we go into some of the corners. But as soon as we get on a straightaway, we quickly pull the gap out. Kind of got the back end out on the car there. A little bit of Oppo. This is a really tough corner to judge. You noticed it with me in qualifying, and I didn't drive it very well there. That's blind over the crest of a hill, downhill. And then up through the gears, down the back stretch. The back stretch, not the back stretch. Just in case you were curious, they are different things after all. Not really. But yeah, we are destroying the field right now. Pure dominance. As we come through the banked corner. But we've got to dominate it. You know, think about this. If something happens to Ruby and we don't win this race, I'm going to be kicking myself for a while because I would have lost the championship on essentially an unforced error. Because again, the last 2 races, man, I should have at least had a top 3 at the very worst at both of those races and probably higher. Especially if I'd driven a little bit better at Milwaukee. I think I would have easily finished 3rd, possibly 2nd, when I might have been able to capitalize on some of Hurtaby's problems. And I saw as I came around the corner there some of the back of the field already. We come up through the gears. I'm gonna try to get into this corner just a little bit better this time. Down a gear a bit early there. Down another one. Just slow it down nice and easy. Back on the throttle. Through the gears, and let me look down that straight. See if I see any of our friends at the back. No, I don't, not yet. But I think we absolutely will catch them before the end of this race. Because considering that I put 10 seconds on Parnelli Jones like right out of lap 1, I suspect these guys are going a little bit slower than that. Just a suspicion. Here's another thing that's kind of interesting to me. The tires are not wearing hardly as much as I thought they would. I thought the tires would really wear out over the course of a race. That doesn't appear to be the case. As I go off the track, a little bit of a corner cut. I'm guessing they didn't have stringent track limits rules back in these days. Then again, IndyCar doesn't have stringent track limits rules anyway, considering what happened at Circuit of the Americas this year. So maybe I'm wrong on that one. Maybe IndyCar has always just been the Wild West. Tried to look around that corner to see if I could see any of the cars. Now I see them on the straight across the way from me. So I am chasing these guys in front of me down. As we now have 4 laps to go. So actually I wasn't halfway when I said I was. Whoa, 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 whoa.
71 is smoking.
Well, that was a bit of a delayed reaction because I was looking at where Lloyd Ruby was. And I hit the berm, just like I said, you shouldn't do that. And I did it. And I damaged the car. I don't think it's going to affect me too much, just as long as I keep it on the straight and narrow for the rest of this race. Oh, that's why you don't check the pit board when you're coming out of a corner, David. Bad idea. Look at all the smoke coming out of the back of the car. No bueno. Thankfully, we now have well over 30 seconds on Parnelli Jones. So I don't want to say I can relax, but I do want to say that if something were to happen like what just happened, doing all right. Coming through the S's, nice and easy. Down a gear. Down into second, find those apexes. There it is. Car kind of bouncing up and down over the bumps. Or undulations, I'm not really sure you could consider them bumps. And here we go. Lap traffic with 3 laps to go. You knew I was going to catch him eventually. And here we go. Now again, if I've got any chance in the championship, I need to be careful with these guys. Exceedingly careful this time. Oh, look at all those cars. Goodness gracious. Alright, here we go. Down the backstretch. This would have been a great place to catch them, but it doesn't look like I'm going to catch them here. They're all kind of going side by side down the backstretch as we speak. Probably could actually make a stop and get the car fixed, but we're going to not do that. This seems to be where the AI aren't that great. We're going to go around Rob Williams here. All these cars are purple. Oh, are blue with purple exhaust pipes. Just going to slow down there. Don't run into the back of me, whoever's the lap car directly behind me. He didn't. Alright, we're going to go around Anglais, maybe. Yes, we will. Lots of guys in very slow Watsons are back here. John Power. Is that Will's grandpa? Well, he's gonna give me the prove it fate if I'm not too careful. Just be nice and careful. I'm gonna drive around Power here. No, I'm not. Now I am. Underneath Rich Cook. Maybe. Now we're on the outside of Rich Cook. We're going to let him choose where he wants to go in the brake zone. So many Watsons. Some guy entered 25 cars for his friends in this race, and they're all at the back. It's like the rental carts or whatever, Skip Barber cars. Carlos Daltoni. That's a car that's a driver that's always in the IndyCar 2005 games or the Codemasters IndyCar games. So he's definitely one of the developers. As my car is belching black smoke out the back of it. I'm kind of excited to get up to Ian Cadman, though I'm going to give him the finger for stealing my number. I believe this is Cadman right here. Indeed it is. 91. I'd rather not crash with the 91 car, but I do want to look at it. Yeah, there you go. That's why I can't run 91 in this game. Thanks a lot. All right, coming to the white flag.
It's the final lap.
Boy, there's a lot of scrubby scrubs in this race. Finally come up to the last one. Thomas Mills will pass him. He's car number 92, so I guess he's teammates with Cadman. They weren't very creative with their scrubby scrub paint schemes, that's for sure. Just a blue car with an IRL number plate on it. Now this better not be McCluskey up here, because that's a blue and white car. McCluskey's in 13th place, so I don't think it's him. Thankfully. Hopefully we'll be able to drive around this car without too many issues. If I even get up to him. I think I will. Up to third gear. Fourth. Got to be careful of this corner. For the final time. Joe Leonard. So we're just going to be nice and easy. When he gets onto the throttle, we will. A little bit of dirt there. Shift up, David. That always helps. And now Joe Leonard's going to pull around. We'll get in his draft. Try to draft him down this straightaway. It's long enough to draft on, that's for sure. Oh, he's lifting off through the kink. So I'll just drive nice and easy down in here. And around Joe Leonard we go. Through the final corner. And we've done everything we can do to try to win the championship, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're going to have to see at the points, but congratulations, I think, are for Lloyd Ruby. And now the AI car is going to hit the wall. Woo! He saved it too, but I definitely saved it on the start when the AI took over for me. It's a little close for comfort there. Parnelli Jones in second. Ruby in third. Al Unser has moved to dismissive of me because he was upset that we made contact there. Lapped all the way up to 22nd place. And the Scrubby Scrubs, Team Scrub, has not finished the race yet. Wow, they had positions 23 through 29. Goodness gracious, that's a lot of Scrubby Scrubs. And as you can see, 1:50. So actually, I was wrong. It's the laps are longer than that. So that would have been well over an hour to do 23 laps. Goodness gracious. So that's the end of the 1965 season of Indy 500 Evolution. Lloyd Ruby becomes the national champion. I, of course, won the Indianapolis 500. I had 2 wins on the season, as well as what you've just seen at Riverside. Trenton was won by Don Branson, who had an early start to the season that was pretty good, but ultimately could only muster 3rd in the championship. The Milwaukee 100 went to Mario Andretti. The Langhorne 100 went to Al Unser, a couple of incredibly famous names taking wins in their debut season. Cheeseburg won that crazy race at Milwaukee for the 200-miler there. Trenton went to Ruby, the champion, winning 1 race on the season. And, of course, I got the 2nd win at Riverside and became the only repeat winner on the season. Let's take a look down through the rest of the point standings. Again, Jim Clark only ran 2 races but scored 8 points in them. I wish he would have run the full season because he probably could have been competitive for the championship. The final points earner was Johnny Rutherford in 20th, so 20 cars scored points. And, of course, there's the legend of Max Wigley down there in 48th position on the season board. So, that's been 1965. Stay tuned for the 1966 season of Indy 500 Evolution. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for more Indy 500 Evolution, and also for more Indy 500 Motorsport and Indy 500 month content. We'll see you in the next video.